Hello everyone, welcome to practice today. Congrats on hitting play and carving out this time for yourself. We're gonna go ahead and get started in child's pose. You'll need a block. Just settle into whatever child's pose works for you right now and take 5 breaths. Once you make your way through those breaths, use an inhale to come up to tabletop position. Just linking from there right into synchronized breath, body movement. Go ahead and go right into your cat round with your exhale. Just continue back and forth, cat and cow. We're just going to do somewhat of a continuous moving flow today. So in this early part, just start to get a really good feel for your own rhythm, your own breath pace. Start to take some lateral bending here through your spine. So just sort of bending to the left, bending to the right. Do 2 rounds of that. And we go ahead and come on up to downward facing dog. As you start to settle into down dog, don't get too still, don't settle in too much. Just go ahead and start to come into a continuous pedal, left and right heels. Let's do this. It's actually a really nice calf stretch to let your heels drop toward the mat in down dog. So you might focus on getting that, not only a calf stretch, but Achilles tendon, the plantar fascia. And as you're pedaling left to right, slowly walk your feet together until they touch. Then take your right toes up high. Point your lifted foot, and then flex your lifted foot. Point your lifted foot and take some circles. One direction, the other direction. And bend this leg, reach over a bit more, maybe turn to look under your right arm. And straighten your leg back out, low lunge. All right, from low lunge, just find a range of motion that feels comfortable to go back and forth a little bit. And so as you do this, with a slight posterior tilt will be nice to keep the stretch in the hip flexor rather than low back compression. If you want to go farther back, take bigger ranges of motion, come farther forward. Just find what works for you here. I'm going to see how far back I can go. How far forward I can go. So next time you come forward, stay there. Sweep your right arm high for a twist. Take a couple of bigger breaths here. And 3-legged dog or down dog. And slowly lower this foot back down to the ground. Come back into those pedals. So left and right, heel pedals. Little check-in with your breath. Notice how you're using it here. Slowly taking ankles to touch. Left toes go high. And just point and flex your lifted foot. So plantar flex, dorsiflex. And from plantar flex position, circles. Just starting in that pointed position, just ankle circles, both directions. Bend this leg, reach over and open. And come on through for low lunge. And same thing here, just finding a little bit of steady movement. Maybe big ranges. If you're trying the big ranges, notice if one side feels way different than the other. Just put a little question mark there for later. All right, staying forward this time. Just easy, free twist, couple of breaths, big breaths. Transitioning your way, down dog or three-legged dog. And little tiny steps to make your way to the top of the mat. Go ahead and set your feet about hip width. Drive down into the ground to come on up. Press down, reach up. Take one big inhale breath. Hip hinge, dive down. Halfway lift. Hip hinge, fold again. Rise, extended mountain. Moving into sun salutation A's. Slowly fold, hinging from your hip creases. Halfway lift, nice lengthen back. All right, plant hands, low push up. Knees are fine. Cobra or upward facing dog. Back to downward facing dog. Just take one full inhale breath here. Get completely empty. A little bracing of your abdomen as you're empty to step or jump forward. Halfway lift, long back. Hip hinge, fold. Rise, extended mountain. Another sun A. Fold from hip creases. Halfway. Moving through low push-up. If you want to move a little slower, do it. If your breath is a little faster, just accommodate what you need today. Back to downward facing dog. From down dog, your one full inhale. So as you get empty, empty, little bracing of the abdomen. Stay empty as you step or jump lightly. Halfway. Hip hinge, fold. Drive down with your feet as you rise and reach. All right, chair position here. And so just imagine sitting back into a chair, so it's not just a knee strategy where you bend your knees and go, but you want to also use a hip strategy. So knees are going to bend so much, flex. Then you want to also draw your hip creases back like you're going to sit back into a chair. Keep your spine nice and organized. Reach arms. Take a big breath in. To breathe out. Take one more full inhale. All right, hip hinge, fold down. Halfway lift. Hands plant, strong body to low push-up. Try not to rush the upward facing. Using the breath and belly drawing back for downward facing dog. Lift your right foot high for a moment, keeping the pelvis square. Bend your knee, flex your hip to draw your knee in close. Come forward. Then as slowly as you can, step your foot forward. Back heel down, warrior one. And so that mobility, if you're newer to transitioning, that mobility can be one of the most challenging parts of sun salutation B. So finding that range of motion to really flex the hip, really bend the knee. I also, for example, lift onto my right fingertips there to give myself a little more space. So you might try that or step to the side a little bit. Blocks under hands helps too. All right, sweep arms high. Find some force downward through your feet to take one more inhale as you lift and rise. All right, slow flow down. You're welcome to go straight to down dog if you prefer. Moving through with breath. Making your way. We'll do that same slow transition. So lift your left leg high. We don't normally do this part, not always. So it's just a little add-on. Knee flexes, hip flexes as strongly as it can. Round the back a little bit. Bring everything forward. Land. Warrior one. That's kind of hard. And so instead of just landing your feet on the mat, really get a sense of using the strength of your legs, driving down. From there, the sort of rebound action up, bright fingertips. Big inhale breath. To breathe out. You take one more inhale, a little exclamation peak, and slowly down to the ground, flowing through. You can go knees, thighs, belly, chest. Breathing through, landing back in down dog. Take a big inhale. Let it go all the way out. On empty, step or jump forward. Halfway lift. Hip hinge fold. Drive through feet to rise all the way up. We should jump chair pose. Take a breath in, bow forward. Halfway lift. Should we do that next time? All right, flow through low. Breathing through. Landing back. We'll go through right side warrior one. So taking your time here, you choosing your pace, but just keeping this succinct movement. I'm going to flow right away down. Just getting the sense of intentionally using the inhale and the exhale. Purposeful movement. Moving some energy. Arriving back in down dog. Big breath in, open mouth this time, let something go. One more inhale. Breathe out all of your air. Just stay empty, little abdominal brace. Step or jump light. Halfway lift. Fold down. Here we go. We're going to drive through the feet, spring up, jump. Chair pose. I told you. Take a breath in. Fold. Let's do that again. Drive down, rise up, jump, chair pose. Take a breath in, fold. So here you can do yogi squat. If you'd like to do a crow pose, you can. I'm going to take yogi squat. Dave's going to take crow, yes. If you're working on crow, hands are like you've been doing them in chaturanga, probably a little wider than shoulder width distance is good. Knees on the backs of arms, maybe on the sides of arms. Lift up and through the navel, holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, chaturanga. Making your way to downward facing dog. Take a big breath in, stay right here, open your mouth, let it go. All right, right foot forward, crescent lunge. So back heel is up now. Find some width between your feet. And just feel a little bit of bounciness helps to bring our attention to the strong plantar flexors in the back foot. So the muscles that point the foot, lift the heel. We need those working strongly with every step we take. And start to still your body. Draw your tailbone down a little bit to get really strong in the trunk. Feet drive down to zing your hands up into the air. Excellent. Take a big breath in here to twist to the right, just rolling around. I'm going to take my hand to the ground. You could use a block. Dave's using more of a light leverage. Staying here for a big inhale breath. Just one exhale breath to finish. Warrior two, up and around. Whoosh, sink down into strong legs. Reverse warrior here. Let's go half moon balance. I'm gonna grab my block along the way, because I want to. Seems like I do half moon a lot without the block, so I'd like the block today. And so remember, this right thumb is about in line with your right pinky toe. That'll help you open up a little more fully. Squeeze your left bum here. And then maybe a bind. So you can bend your leg. You could just work it right there, just bending the lifted leg. Or you could catch it. You catch it, little bow and arrow kick. Just stretch through your left elbow. Stretch through your chest. So we're staying. One more full inhale breath. When you get there, forward fold, release. Light, light landing. Excellent. Rise up. Big reach high, little jump at the top. Chair pose. Take an inhale breath. All right, fold forward. Halfway lift. Flowing through. Breathing through. Landing back in down dog. As you're ready, other side crescent lunge. If you need to take a little breather for a moment, do it. Or you can just come into crescent, you can modify it. You can take some big mouth breaths for a moment if you need it. Find that little burstiness to the plantar flexors of the right foot. Lifting, you might even let your heel drop back for a moment and then push through the ball mounds. Excellent. And stabilizing yourself, strong through your pelvis and trunk. Hands zing up. Take a big, tall breath in. All right, twist. As you twist, try to keep your back leg stable so the right quad still draws back versus turning under. All right, 2 of your breaths. Third exhale, move from strong legs and core to come into warrior two. I meant third inhale. Sorry, did I say exhale? I meant inhale. You knew what I meant. Okay. Reverse warriors, you're there. Big reach up and back. Here we go. Half moon, balance. Left thumb in line with left pinky toe. You can even just work with your hand on your hip. Moving toward stacked hips. Also check your left knee that you're not fiercely locking it out. Keep some bend there to keep it more muscular. You can bend your lifted leg, maybe catch it. Press and open, holding 2 more of your breaths here. Folding when you're ready. Awesome. Rise all the way up. Big reach high. Chair pose, sink. Remember to keep chair pose as a knee and hip posture. So we're getting knee bend and a lot of hip flexion. So lean forward a bit. So maybe a little more than usual. Leaning forward to draw your bum back. Twist to the right. Lots of different ways you can work here. You can put a block between your knees. You can take your arm outside your thigh. Send some breaths to the rib spaces. Notice if there's any stuck feeling. Stay 2 more. That last exhale as your fold. Hip hinge fold. Pour the spine. All right, drive down, rise. Chair pose, big hip flexion. When you're ready, take your twist. Ujjayi breath. 2 more breaths here. Last exhale, you get to pour forward. all the way down. All right, rise up. Take your hands to your heart for a moment. Tap your right toes back behind you. And just standing here so you're balanced on the left foot, but just the big toe tap on the right side. Practice feeling hip extension. So right glute's gonna squeeze, but without a big tilt of the pelvis. So aim the tailbone down a little bit, then squeeze to just hip extend. So just opening right there. Hands can stay at your heart. We're gonna slowly hinge into the left hip crease to come forward. If you wanna take your arms forward, make sure you're braced to the trunk. Take that kinetic line all the way through your leg, all the way through your toes. If you're gonna take your arms out, you gotta have that strong transfer of energy all the way through the body. From here, take one more inhale breath. Lightly crescent lunge land. Inhale, reach high. Warrior two, open wide. Reverse warrior, go ahead and straighten this front leg out. Triangle pose. So I'm gonna use my block. Use a tall block. You can put your hand on your leg. Make sure this front knee doesn't lock out. Keep it somewhat bent. Strong through both legs. Driving force through the feet to elongate through your spine. Gaze up and beyond. 2 big breaths. When you're there, you'll just use your legs and feet to rise up again from here. We're setting pyramid pose. Back foot will step up. It'll go a little wider to the right, and probably your toes will angle more forward. Hips pretty square forward. Take an arm bind behind your back. So you could clasp hands, you could use a towel between your hands or strap. You could take reverse prayer hands, a little extra mobility in the wrists, elbows and shoulders. Breathe in, lengthen. Hip hinging to the left hip crease. Keep your spine long as you can. And then eventually, let it pour down. Taking one more inhale breath here. Release your bind or your arms down as you breathe out. Grab your block, tall block under your right hand for revolve pose. Now, a little drawback of your left hip crease is probably going to be useful for most of us. Make sure you're not backward bending. So a little downward draw at the tailbone. Rotate from the ribs. Then breathe into the thoracic space. Strong, strong legs. Take 3 of your breaths here. Precisely the 3rd exhale is fold at the top of your mat. Be really clean and precise with your breath, your movement. Your inhale breath lifts you up all the way. Excellent. Hands to pelvis. So you're going to remind the pelvis not to tilt here, focusing on left hip extension. So tap big toe back. I'm going to even draw my front ribs in a little bit here, squeeze my left glute more to really get a sense of what that feels like. Hands can start at heart center, slowly hinging in the right hip crease, a little bend in the right knee, and you choose from here. To modify, just don't go very low with your chest, stay up higher. Kinetic energy through the trunk, through your left bum, through your toes. Reach. Maybe reach. One more, giant breath in, crescent lunge landing. Excellent, inhale, rise. All right, warrior two. As you reverse, go ahead and straighten this front leg out. Triangle pose. I'm just checking here, rib to pelvis relationship. Again, trying not to compensate by dropping into a backward bend here. 3 of your breaths. you're looking up, be easy on the neck. Once you're done, rise up. We'll set up for that pyramid pose again. So big step up, getting my pelvis square and then wiggling my feet to where it makes most sense for that. All right, little tailbone down. Bind if you're going there. Big breath in to lengthen. And then slowly going. So I have a really strong sense of using my feet to drive down, to elongate up prior to the fold. It's like primary, and then the fold is secondary. Stay long from the action of the feet. If you want to let your head drop eventually at the very end, last breath. Arms soften down when you're there. Grab your block. This goes right under your left shoulder line for the rotation. Again, making sure that you're not blowing into a back bend here. Rotate through the ribs. 3 full breaths. Tiny little brace of the abdomen will help that momentum move into the thoracic spaces. Your last exhale when you're there is forward fold. So stepping up, excellent. Rise all the way up. Big inhale. Go to chair pose slow. So we're going to kind of load a spring and we're going to jump one more time, up and away. Heck, let's do it again. It's kind of fun. So load the spring, up and down. One more. Up and down. Excellent. All right, just standing. If you haven't jumped in a while, notice what it feels like to jump. We got to keep jumping for as long as we can. All right, reach up high, take a big breath in, hip hinge fold, halfway lift. All right, downward facing dog, however you want to get there. Big inhale here. While the exhale, let it go. Right foot forward, left knee down for half camel. So you could take a block, take it back near your back leg or foot. Or those of you that already know, you can take your hand to your heel. Again, I want to get into this little pocket of hip crease on the left side. So what I don't want to do is backward bend, because then I take that opportunity away to release the hip flexor. Release excessively backward bend. So a little drawdown of the tailbone's nice here. Definite strong left side bum. Now reestablish firm press through your front foot to really lift up. So as you lift your hand, rib cage lifts upward, up, up, up. Remaining in control of your head and neck. Maybe gazing a little farther up, a little farther back. Big inhale. Full exhale. One more time, this is it. All right, slowly come up, downward facing dog. Slowly go, press back, inhale. Hoa, let it go. All right, other side. Half camel, hip, hip, hooray. All right, setting yourself. So if you feel like it's hard to square your body back forward, that's normal and that's okay. So you don't have to square your chest all the way forward, just go to where you can. What wants to happen here in our bodies without awareness is right away, full collapse into the lumbar spine. So trying to minimize the backward bend, maximize opening the right hip crease, which is going to require right bum squeeze. And then reestablish, drive down through your left foot to lift ribs up. Staying in control like you're holding a little ball between your chin and your chest. Full free breaths here, 2 more. Slowly coming up as you're down there. All right, down dog. And then just come onto your knees and come on over to your backside. So bridge pose here. Feel free to take a supported bridge if you want to do that here, or take full bridge. Trying to minimize the lumbar backward bend so that you can get a little more hip extension. We can lose hip extension in tiny, tiny, tiny increments, and it can become unnoticeable over the years. And in yoga, we can compensate for it by doing more back bend. So that's why we kind of harp on that a lot. Not maximizing the back bend over and over. Or maybe you tuck your shoulders under if you haven't yet. We're staying 3 more breaths. Maybe that last inhale stretches a little bit longer, and then slow and controlled release. A little press of your pelvis into the ground. Then bridge again. So bridge again, come up. Just get nice and supported so you can use your hands into the floor. I'm going to interlace mine underneath me. And take a moment to set your tailbone toward your knees a little bit here. You might wiggle your feet a little closer. We're going to take marches. So right leg goes up. I'm extending mine straight, but you can keep it bent. And just side to side. So as you do this, the key is not to let the pelvis drop or tip as you take the leg in the air. So try to keep it as even as possible. Going for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, it's getting hard, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, slowly come on down, good work. Feet together, knees butterfly out. Just arrive here for a moment. Feel your heart beating. Feel the dance between your breath and your heartbeat. And then hug your knees into yourself for a moment. Draw some circles. Right ankle over left knee. Figure 4. I'm going to film a view of the forest so you guys can see our view right now. It's pretty incredible. We'll put a little bit of that in the class, right? Yeah. All right, other side. I'm just looking for that little hello to the outer left hip, maybe the joint capsule, the left hip. And happy baby pose. And then knees to the right for twist. And gaze to the left comfortably. Twist the other way. And come on now, take an inverted posture of your choice. So you can take your legs up in the air. Waterfall is a great pose, just putting the block long ways left to right under your pelvis rather than your low spine. Legs up. Shoulder stand. Dave is in shoulder stand here. Notice his elbows are sort of propping and holding him. If you want to practice another inversion, feel free to do that. Take 5 breaths from now. Just taking the time for each breath, not rushing anything here. When you do get there, you can transition into final rest. If there's any little wiggling around that you need on the way, go ahead and do that. Just intentionally lay your body down here. Intentionally let any gripping in your hands, your jaw, your tongue, your eyes, your belly, let it all go. Let your feet fall softly. Let your breath go just totally on its own here. And just be witness for a moment to any shifting that occurred from your practice. If you'd like to stay longer, go ahead. Otherwise, make your way up. The forest is blowing. The forest is falling. That's awesome. Let's come to your seat. Take your hands together at your heart center. Take a big breath in and just let all of that go. The light within me sees and honors and loves the light within all of you and within you, Dave. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We are very grateful that you're here practicing with us, and we're really proud of you for keeping up your practice. That's really incredible. So let us know, as always, if you got recommendations, if you want to see more of something, type in the comments. We will absolutely do it. Yeah, have an amazing rest of your day. And we'll see you around. Bye.
Bye-bye.